Good afternoon, Wolverhampton. Formula One, Colin Lloyd in the building. How are you doing, Colin?
Oh, very good, thank you.
Good man. Enjoying the tournament so far?
It's been great, hasn't it? It's been great. I mean, you've had tension, you've had fantastic shot outs, bags of 180s. The youngsters are making a move. Some of the golden oldies back. Sorry, Raymond, but no, it's been great. Absolutely brilliant.
Highlights so far?
Nice to see MVG playing well again, banging in some big averages. It was nice to see James Wade last night banging a big average as well. Sorry, Rob, but and the ladies. I think Fallon and Lisa have been absolutely fantastic here. Fallon the other night, I mean, she could have banged it. I mean, she had a great average anyway, but she could have banged in an absolutely glorious average, and she looks so easy doing it. Bit of a marker for the men, that is, for when they get to the World Championships.
We spoke in July, back in the match play. You're looking a lot leaner. What's your secret then? Tell us all.
Coralie.pt.uk. Coralie, who I work out with, and all the other ladies, and a friend of mine, Andy, 3 times a week, trying to watch what I eat, what I drink, and whatever. And yeah, listen, mate, I just wanted to get a little bit fitter. I'd got a little bit podgy, as they say, and listen, I've got time now to look after myself. I don't have to worry about playing on the tour or anything like that. That's not an excuse. It is an excuse. It's a very weak excuse. But listen, I'm just enjoying life at the moment. A little bit of running, a little bit of cardio, a little bit of strength workout, and it's great. It's working. It's helping, and I feel really good.
Great. Back to the Grand Slam. Give us a name of a winner. I know it's put you on the spot a second there, but
well, from what I've seen so far, I think MVG. He's looking in control of his game. He's looking good. He's not taking a step backwards. Michael always used to be like a Usain Bolt, runs over the line, not to it. Whereas just of late this year, he's sort of like getting towards the line, and it's as if someone's pulled the handbrake on. Whereas I think in the league phase so far, he's looked, dare I say, awesome. He's looked brilliant. And but listen, there's still plenty of other contenders in it that can turn it up a few notches. Gezi Price, our current world number one and world champion, and the man at the moment, Johnny Clayton. You know, Johnny Clayton's looking good, but there's plenty of other people out there that can throw their name in there. You know, but I think the dangerous one, and he's very smiley again and looks very comfy, is MVG.
yeah, absolutely. We've seen 2 young guns really emerge, Nathan Rafferty and Bradley Brooks.
Yeah.
Can you see them going quite far in this?
There's no reason why they can't. You know, Bradley looks quite comfortable in what he's doing. You know, he's the current world youth champion. Certainly one for the future. But do you know what? And this is nothing against Bradley. I really like the look of young Nathan Rafferty. He looks very relaxed, looks comfortable. His very first match looked a little bit jittery for a couple of legs, but then got into it. And you know, he was playing the world number one and world champion in Gezi in his first game. You know, but I like the look of the lad. He goes about his business in an unassuming sort of way. Just goes up and he plays darts. And I thought he looked really good last night against Krzysztof Rotowski, and he put pressure on Krzysztof and he made Krzysztof miss. You know, Krzysztof is the more experienced player, but you know, you give these youngsters an inch these days and they'll take a yard.
Well, Nathan's beat Peter Wright on TV.
Yeah,
So he must have made for the stage.
Yeah, UK Open, if memory serves me right.
Correct.
But these youngsters, you know, when I was up there, Paul, you know, there was a few youngsters sort of like in and around, but no one really driving now. The PDC, what they've done is they've generated so much prize money now. There's an actual proper living there, a proper living. You know, not just for the top echelon, coming down a long way as well. And these young lads and ladies, you know, they're practicing. They're doing all the right things to give themselves that opportunity. And if a few of the so-called big guns of the game, if they're just off a little bit, these youngsters, bang, they're in. You know, they're giving them respect, but they're looking at it as if, so I want a piece of what you've got, and I'm prepared to work hard to do it.
They're fearless, aren't they, these
Yeah,
days?
and you know what? That's great for the game. That's what they have in football. You have the youngsters come through it, and it's great to have now in the world of darts, youngsters coming through again. You know, some names coming through, and I say they're youngsters. They're sort of like early 20s. But they're inspiring the ones that are just that little bit younger, that are still in their teens. You know, thinking, well, you know, I play with Bradley or I play with Nathan. Why not?
We featured Luke Little in the Leicester magazine, 14 years old. He's looking dangerous, one for the future. The future looks very, very safe right now. With the with the JDC, the opportunities there for young players. The system really looks like it's working.
Yeah, the development tour, contender tour, and the pro tour, and JDC. You know, the list goes on and on and on. But it's all done to give these players an opportunity. And there's a lot of players out there that are grabbing that opportunity with both hands, and I love to see it. As a former top pro myself, you know, I still love the game of darts, and darts will be in my blood until my last breath. It's great. It's absolutely great, because there's now the longevity of the game. You can see it going on we've had great times over the last 20, 30 years in darts. You can see it progressing now and keep progressing, and going on for at least another 20, 30 years.
Definitely. Well, the banana skin round's over, first of 5, after tonight. Then we start on the first of 10. That's when the pros really showed it.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. That's when we call it like turning the screw. You know, they don't have to worry about just getting the 5 legs. You've got to, and you'll have the breaks coming in now after 5 legs. You know, that's where a more inexperienced player will think, oh, I feel really good now. And then there's like a 2 or 3 minute break. They go off, and you've got the experienced players sort of glaring at you, looking you up and down.
Yeah.
And they go up there, and they're used to that. But if you've got dreams of becoming a top player, you have to roll with it. You've got to be involved in all that. You've got to be prepared for all this.
Yeah.
But like you say, the big guns won't panic. They'll love it now. The second round, first to 10, because they've got more time.
Yeah. I mean, Rob Cross last night said at two down, first to 10, he's not that concerned.
No.
2 down, race to 5, different story.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. I mean, you know, you lose. All you're thinking then, when you've got a hold and a break, you've got to think to yourself, as the player going in, you think to yourself, I've got to break his throw. I've got to break his throw. Because if I break it, it's only 2-1. My throw, hold my throw, we're 2 all again.
Yep.
Well, you start chasing. All of a sudden, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 2-3, 2-4. You know, you're chasing all the time, whereas you won't panic so much on the longer format. You know, you still want to do the damage every single leg, but you won't panic so much. So you can have that little bit of freedom of throw.
And a quick glimpse forward to the world. You gave me 2 names earlier of players you think are ones to watch. You mentioned Chris Dobie and Ross Smith. Why'd you pick those 2 players?
I just like them. They're you know, they're not youngsters, but they're 2, in my eyes, 2 very, very dangerous players that are starting to mix it up with the big boys. You know, they're winning Pro Tour events, the pair of them, and they're just really good, solid players. And like I keep saying, the big guns. I don't mean it to sound like that, but the bigger name players that are up there and they're doing it month in, month out, or major in, major out. They know with them 2 guys, they have to be on their game, because that's how dangerous they are. They're both capable of and have beaten the big name players, the major winners. So I just think it's time for those 2 players now to go, right, okay, we've had a little taster. Yes, you've won Pro Tours, fellas. Let's start pushing on now in the majors. You're up there in the rankings. You've given yourself the opportunity in the majors. Now let's push on. I want to see them getting. I don't want last 16s anymore from those 2. I want quarterfinals. Quarterfinals regularly become semi-finals. Semi-finals all hopefully become a final. If you're in a final, you've got a chance to win it. If you're in it, you've got a chance to win it. But if you're in a final, it's only you and your opponent. Let's push on. There's no reason why those 2 now, the way they play and the way they can play, that they can achieve what they're setting out to do.
Absolutely, should be an intriguing end to the year. So look, enjoy the ride.
Lovely,
Lloyd, thank you once again for your time. Appreciate it, and all the best.
More than welcome, everyone. Get yourself a Darts World magazine.
There you go. Cheers, Col.
No worries. Cheers, Colin.